We're going to have now our last presenter, and it's a real honor to have Pablo with us. I recently had the honor of joining him in the inauguration of his new office in Miami, which was great. And now he's joining us. Pablo has been chairing. He's been chairing, of course, the MEL Lab in IO, which is a lab started last year by the board of IO to kind of figure out the situation with SMS fraud specifically, but has been touching on other topics as well. Over to you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Good afternoon, everyone. And thank you, Jason, for the time and the opportunity to actually bring this lab to a reality into Rocco. We all believe that it is an important space. You just heard our counterparts, great presentation both, appreciate that. But the fact of the matter is that as a community, we have to fix this thing. The trending is neutral to negative. We believe that in some cases it's a self-inflicted injury from the MNO community. So we have to, although it's a technology is 25, 30 years old, it's a reliable technology, is being used by a lot of stakeholders, so we have to do something about it. So the core of the lab was centered into what we call 4 vectors. One is improve the quality of the ecosystem, and by quality it means everything, fraud as well. I mean, removing fraud from the system makes the whole ecosystem reliable, so we have to take that out. The second one is the commercial transparency. I mean, there's a correlation between fraud and the high price of the messages terminating. 101. So we know that whatever there is an increase in certain ranges, we're not going to talk about pricing here, and we're not going to do that. But when you go through certain limits of pricing, it's a motivation for fraudster to go in that particular market. So price has a huge component of the solution. And the last one is commitment to innovation. You heard from Proximus the evolution of SMS and how it's riding the SS7 network and getting there. But also you heard through the morning the different alternatives that are actually attacking that business directly. So we need to look into that with the high beams light and as a lab, recommend course of action. So we got 6 work streams that we built in this space. The first one is the commercial one. So we look at the business model itself. Is this the right model? Is transactional the right model to entice enterprises to do business with A2P? And then we look into that specifically. Case studies. Is A2P via SMS being used for specific use cases, not for everything? And what is WhatsApp taking over? What RCA is going to take over that ecosystem? Can we start looking into that? The second is actually the fraud part. Identify the fraud, look into what kind of frauds are there and how we're going to attack them. The third impact will be on alternatives that are actually taking the business from us, right? So with those 3, commercially, we need to determine, okay, how we're going to act as a community to defend our position. Then we move into the technical part, and I think you did a great job on the SS7 part. Everything is riding SS7 today. So what kind of platform ecosystems are being driven by that SS7 connectivity, which is old, right? It's old but reliable. We know it works. You might have half a bar coming into Austria here in the airport, but the SMS came through, right? You won't have any data sessions, but that SMS came through. And that has a lot of value, especially for brands that are looking into getting to you crisis management mode, real-time delivery of information. So, okay, the network is there. Then what authentication technologies are coming up? I've been using different, in different spaces, but I know that, for example, Google is great. When you look into alternatives to send an OTP or actually validate you as a user through YouTube, I'm not sure if you guys are saying that, but I try to change that and I force them to send me an SMS, and I cannot. The SMS option is grayed out. So I always will get an authentication through YouTube. So that means that the decision has been made from the big OTTs to move out. Okay? Not even giving you the option to receive that SMS. And you know the case of Twitter, right? When Twitter went out and said, you know what, $60 million in SMS bills, I'm not going to pay it. That was Elon Musk 3 or 4 years ago. So that's the other work stream. And finally is the futuristic vision of messaging. We all communicate, we all talk to each other, and messaging is an excellent way to do it, but perhaps SMS is not going to be there, or it will be limited to a specific set of use cases. Okay, so one of the things that we did on the, I will say on the authentication technologies is, and again, the lab worked very hand in hand. I'm not sure if Isabella is here, Rubel. Thank you, Isabella. She was a heavy contributor on the case, Jim Sturgis from AT&T. So we came together on a format that was very straightforward. Once a month, we shared templates. We all came up with the same data and the same type of formatting for the information, and then attacked in each call those cases and provided the perspective from the MNO community. But we always reach out to certified vendors into the Roku ecosystem to validate what the market is heading to. Sessions like this one, Genesis, and we're sponsoring the anti-fraud track, will give us visibility on what's happening in the ecosystem outside of the MNO view of the world, which is very limited as well. Okay, so that's how we set up the lab moving forward for the last year and a half, 2 years. Okay, the outcome of this, after those 18 months of work, will be a document called Playbook. This document will have everything that we work together on. Again, there are 6 work streams, but there's sub-work streams in each of them. So it's around 12 to 13 vectors that we put up. And in that playbook, which hopefully is going to be out in the next month, you guys will see everything that we developed, worked on, and then recommendations from our perspective. And that will be a recommendation from the lab to eventually the members of the community. Obviously, there was some volunteer work that we needed. In the second phase of this work, which is going to be led by a colleague of mine, Tamer, who's coming tonight. He's been here, but he has to fly and then back in, so you're going to see him tomorrow. And Anis, who is down there. Anis is leading now that group in EAN, but they're going to take this and then move it to the next stage. And the next stage will have pretty much a vision of RCS. We strongly agree with you on the concept of RCS being the next wave. How it's going to get used and what will be the impact is what needs to be decided, right? If Apple is getting into the game, what kind of game are they going to play? Do they allow Google to take control over Jive, which is the connection point? So there's a lot of implications around RCS being streamlined. So we have to look into that and continue. But we believe from the MNO community, that should be the best value protection move from SMS moving forward. The next one is SMS over different alternatives. You heard a lot about CPaaS. And it's funny because in the past, after the COVID hit, CPaaS just took off. If you saw the valuation of Twilio, Sinch, Infobip, the one that were publicly trading. But Twilio is a great example. I think the value went up to $450 a share. Skyrocket, and then suddenly crashed down to 45 when things start getting back to normal. Because the demand to be remote digital was there. And CPaaS, even though CPaaS grew that fast, 85% of the business relied on 4 channels. They had multi-channels, they had a lot of channels, but there's only 4 that drive 85% of the business. SMS, voice, email, and WhatsApp. That's it, those 4. And it continues to be like that. So SMS continues to be a very reliable channel, profitable. This guy is now under a CPaaS environment, which gives the customers alternatives to orchestrate their communication, but continues to be very, very powerful. And the last one is AIT. Personally, I hate this. Every time that we connect to somebody and we detect or smell AIT, we just block it or take it down. We cannot live with that into the system. It's like cancer for SMS, and I'm sorry about using that word, but it is. So we have to be very strong about how we attack that. And it has to be done in a way that is consistent, give the tools to the enterprises to really deal with that. And I mean the tools by saying, one, We should not monetize as a value chain. We should not make money out of this, period. If there's AIT in the system, we don't make money. So we pass that hindrance to whoever did that. The second part is that we should change the model and think about going, instead of billing by submitted, which is we submit the message and we charge for it, by delivered. And do everything in the back end to make sure that we can provide a delivery receipt of that message. So we charge per message delivered, not submitted. That's a change that as a lab we're recommending to the industry that will require some discussion and back and forth. But if nobody makes money out of the event, and everyone is using the same delivery reports, then we believe there's going to be some stability into the ecosystem. The third dynamic is pricing, which is for each of the MNOs and members of the community. How we're going to attack the pricing discussion. Okay. So, well, for the future, as said, we have this playbook that will be delivered by, we hopefully by July 17th. That's where we're working with Tamer and the team to make sure that we do that, present the playbook to the board, and then publish it as an IO community. These 4 tracks will come into the next wave. So we settled on the 6 work stream. We built 4 new ones. I'm going to start attacking those 4 points. And the next meetings are coming in June, July, and September. So we have 1 monthly touch point to run it through. Okay? But again, I think as we're taking this seriously, I believe that in this community we have very good ideas actually, with the participation on group operators and single operators into the whole discussion make a lot of sense for us. So I hope everyone can participate. We're looking for volunteers to join now that you know what's going on, but I strongly encourage that. Okay? So any questions?